All right, well, you ready, Joey?
Man, I am ready.
Ready to start the live show?
I mean, it's been like what? It's been 2 weeks off now, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's been a while.
You're out of country for a week.
Yep.
Last week I had personal stuff going on, and honestly, I feel like it's been like months. Like it's too long. Like I'm not happy about it. So
it feels like we've missed a lot.
it does, but I mean, there really hasn't been a lot.
No.
But I just like to talk about Jags, man. So I've been pumped to be back. So yes, happy to be back.
Well, that's good, man. I'm just going to, before we start our podcast, I'm going to make sure everything's working here because I forgot to hit record on the computer. Well, our YouTube's live, but we're not recording.
I can re-say that.
No, it's fine. It's on our live show. It's just not
fair
going to
enough.
be on the podcast. Yeah,
but I think that needs to be on the podcast. That was gold. It was passion.
We'll see.
It was like I'm pumped. Come on, Jason. I will say watching the end of this game. All right. Whenever you want to start.
All right. Welcome to another Jags podcast, episode 72.
72.
I know. It's like each time we do it, it's like, damn, like we're that far into it.
That's a big number.
But we're here.
We are.
And I'm here with Joey.
And Joey's pumped to be back.
Joey's doing good. We were just talking on our we do a live show. And we were talking on the show before we recorded the podcast that it's been a while since we've had you and me here.
Yeah, I mean, like you were out of country for a week, so we didn't do it at all. Last week I had stuff going on, so like 2 weeks feels like months, honestly, which is good because I like doing this. Yeah,
no, it's good, and you can follow us on Twitter, Another Jags Pod, Facebook, Instagram, Another Jags Podcast. We are 40 followers away from 1,000 on Twitter.
Man, that's epic.
It's awesome. You can find us on Big Cat Country. We're on their podcast network with SB Nation. We're also on the Overtime Sports Podcast Network. You can find us all over the place. You can hit us up on Twitter or YouTube. If this is your first time listening to the show, we're basically a fan show.
We are.
We get your questions, we get your comments, and we just read them and talk about certain things. We just facilitate the conversation here.
Should we maybe throw a poll out there? Like, what is your favorite way to get to our podcast?
Yeah, I mean, because there's a lot of different ways to.
I mean, there's like a boatload right now.
Right, a bunch of different ways to get to us.
We might want to solidify that to a couple. So let us know. Comment on whatever your favorite media is. Let us know how you like to find us, how you track us, what notifications you get, how you get to our podcast. That would be helpful.
Yeah, that would be. Just let us know. But tonight we're breaking down the wide receivers. So if you haven't listened to any of our podcasts the last couple of weeks, we broke down quarterbacks, we broke down running backs, and now we're doing wide receivers. So you can go back and listen to any of the podcasts, or you can go on YouTube and just watch us live on our live show where we talk about it. But tonight we're doing wide receivers. So you guys gave us a lot of input on wide receivers, and we actually got input via Twitter through a current wide receiver, and we'll get to that in a little bit.
Ooh.
So, first of all, before we jump into it, Joey.
Let's tease.
Give me your thoughts on the wide receiver group as a whole.
I'll tell you what. First of all, I'll start from a media standpoint. We're the local guys. The media doesn't want to talk about it. I mean, I listen to sports radio every day, way more than I should, and I haven't heard anything about wide receivers in probably 3 weeks. There's a reason for that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But we're going to tackle it because that's what we do, and it's important. In my mind, generally, I mean, what do you want, like a 1 to 10 scale? How do you want me to rate that?
Yeah, just give me who you're excited for, I guess.
I'm excited for D.D. Westbrook because he came on at the end of the year. I've been a fan of his since the second he got on the team. I think with Foles, D.D. is going to be an elite wide receiver next year. So I'll leave it at that as far as my opinion before we get in depth.
Okay. Yeah. I am excited for this group. I think that D.D. Westbrook, like you said, will be good. I think I'm excited for DJ Chark this year. I think a lot of what held him back last year was his size. We'll get to him later, but I'm excited for DJ Chark. I think he'll put some weight on. I think D.D. Westbrook will look good. I think Marquise Lee will eventually get back to who he is, and their core isn't that terrible. They may all kind of look the same, but they're not terrible. So. We're going to get into them each individually, and we'll get into what you guys think. But right off the bat, I think there's reason to be optimistic about this group.
Absolutely.
Before we get into the wide receivers, the biggest news of the week for the Jaguars was, to me, the news that came out that Jack Del Rio had no idea that Blaine Gabbert was being picked.
That's crazy town.
What were your thoughts when you heard that?
Absolutely crazy town. And the fact was, like, he went to the buffet to get food and came back, and the Jaguars had drafted a quarterback. And that's your head coach. I mean, Gene Smith, really, man? Like, hey, all right, I picture him, like, looking through the room, like, okay, Del Rio's going away. I'm going to do this real quick. I mean, that can't happen. You can't do that as a staff, right?
Tayson Advance on Twitter, and he's at TayVS_SD, says it sounds a lot like the movie Giraffe Day with Kevin Costner.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Which is a movie. It's like fictitious. Like, you can't do that in real life, but they did.
Yeah, no, that's insane. Like, you're not even going to consult. I mean, I guess if you're a GM and, Gene Smith doesn't know if making good decisions, but if you're the GM, I guess you can do whatever you want, I guess.
I mean, you can, but, I mean, Del Rio's a good coach. I think he's proved that. Like, he's a good coach.
I thought he got a raw deal here.
He absolutely did,
Yeah.
and he did well at Oakland. He kind of got a raw deal there as well. And, dude, he's a good coach. I mean, and he was a Jacksonville guy. He still has a house here. I mean, yeah, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
In a bad way.
Well, I'm just glad that we no longer have to deal with that, and hopefully Marone is a little more involved.
Do you think that goes on, like, more than we know?
Probably. Yeah.
So who broke that? Like, I saw, like, the headline.
I think it was on the Brent Martineau and Austin Lane's show. I think they did an interview with him.
With Del Rio?
Yeah.
So he's, like, a little bit bitter.
Probably.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean,
it's right up his alley, though. He's like a mince words.
No, Del Rio was never a guy to hold back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I liked him.
That's
honestly.
pretty cool.
All right, well, let's get into some of the wide receivers as a whole, just to kind of fill everybody in. Here, who we currently have on the roster right now. We have D.D. Westbrook out of Oklahoma, who played pretty well last year. I would say that he was our best receiver last year. Would you agree with me there?
Oh, by far. I mean, the start of the season, maybe not so much, but the end of the season, like, he was the guy that he played like a man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he was catching balls down the sideline. He was breaking tackles. He was, like, rolling off hits. I mean, yeah, he played like a man. And he's like 5'9". I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was my favorite receiver last year to watch. He really stepped up, like, when it mattered the most.
But, I mean, coming out of college, like, he was like a 5-star recruit.
No, yeah, he was
in
good.
College.
Mm-hmm.
He was that guy. He had some issues off the field during college, and we got him as a steal. But, I mean, like, speed-wise, catch-wise, I mean, you watch his Oklahoma film, I mean, the dude was, like, blowing DBs away.
People forget that he was like a Heisman finalist.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
no,
he was like
he
that
was
guy,
good.
and we got him in the late rounds. I mean, and he's done nothing here to show that he isn't a stand-up dude at this point. So
yeah, I know. I mean, he had 101 targets last year, which is a lot for him, the most on the team. 66 receptions, most on the team. 717 yards, almost 11 yards per reception, 5 touchdowns. So his PFF grade was only a 70, which isn't bad, but what is worth noting is, like, I know people feel whatever about PFF. I use PFF a lot just to give you guys idea of where he's being ranked with the analytics. You can take them for whatever they're worth to you, but I'm just letting you know. But his PFF grade as a run blocker on the outside was even better than his receiver record. So the guy can run block, which I like, and I like that in a wide receiver
because he's nasty. Like,
he's got a nasty side to him.
He might not be a huge wide receiver, but he's got the mentality of a huge wide receiver. He's strong, and he just got that I want to win, man. And those stats are skewed because the first half of the season we didn't throw to him much at all.
Yeah,
which was baffling to me.
Mm-hmm.
And they finally figured out, like, hey, this guy is legit. I guess. I mean, I don't know if it was a Bortles him thing or what. But
well, I think we were trying to force Keelan Cole. I think.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
I mean,
after that catch.
Yeah, he played good in the Patriots game. We're actually watching the Patriots game right now. Jaguars-Patriots week 2 of last year. We're watching it because that was the week when the receivers looked the best.
Yeah, it was like, hey, slants work. Like, we're dominating a team that beat us last year. We're going to win the Super Bowl. And, yeah, not so much.
This is how good our receivers looked in this game. Not only did Dante Moncrief have a touchdown catch, so did Austin Seferian-Jenkins.
That says a lot. Like, he's not on a team right now, right?
No.
He got cut.
No,
like,
I think he got picked up by the Patriots and then cut.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah.
And if you don't think Bill Belichick's a good judge of talent, then yeah.
Yeah. So D.D. Westbrook, what I think was interesting about D.D. Westbrook is he caught every single pass thrown to him when he was on the right side inside 10 yards.
Yeah.
So statistically, every target in that range of the field he caught.
Yeah. And if you had a quarterback that could actually do that consistently, it probably would have been 10 times that.
Yeah. So I'm excited about D.D. Westbrook. I think we speak for almost everyone when he's the guy we look to the most to probably step up.
Yeah, I mean, I see him as like a Steve Smith.
Yeah, that's a good. I like that.
I mean, right? I mean, same size, same grittiness, same attitude, same
maybe not as dirty,
speed.
But
maybe not as dirty.
Hopefully not as dirty.
Yeah, but speed wise, I mean, dude, that's like him.
And he's quick. I mean, he makes guys miss.
Yeah.
I mean, we showed a clip on our Twitter against the Rams 2 years ago, and the dude was just making people miss left and right. It was disgusting.
Dude, he's going to be nasty this year.
Yeah.
There's no way that he's not going to be.
I'm excited. Him with Foles. So here's a question for you. He had 717 yards last year. Do you think he breaks 1,000 this year?
I think he goes for 1,208 touchdowns.
Ooh. How many? 9?
8.
8? 1,200. That's a lot of yards. That's
in 16 games with Foles?
1,200?
Offensive line that's back?
Dude, I want him to get it. I'm just saying it's a lot.
All right. Well, so let's back up a little bit then. So you think Marquise Lee is going to be our number one receiver this year?
I don't know what to expect out of him because he's coming off the injury.
Well,
no, I think Westbrook will be the 1, but
if our 1 doesn't get 1,208, then we have a problem.
I mean, 8. I can see 8, but 1,200 is a lot.
Okay, well,
that's double. That's almost double.
1,008 or 9, whatever. He's going to be our number 1 guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I don't think he gets to 1,000 yards. I think we have 3 guys. I think we have.
I'm going to start arguing that again, dude. If he got 717 with Bortles, you don't think he can get to 1,000 with Foles?
I think he gets to 1,000.
Okay.
Maybe he has a good year, but I think these other guys will step up. I think you'll see a better year out of Keelan Cole than he had last year. I think DJ Chark will take a step in the right direction.
We need to take a pause with Keelan Cole. That needs some lengthy
the
examination.
guy is a good receiver. He had a bad second half of the year, but
do you?
I think he can be good. Here's what I think about Keelan Cole, and I guess we can move on to Keelan Cole.
Well, yeah, we should at this point.
Keelan Cole is I think he's a good 3 receiver.
Absolutely.
And he was forced to be a 2 last year,
yeah.
and they tried to make him a 1 in the beginning of the year.
Fair enough.
So I think when you get Westbrook, you get Marquise Lee back, you put Terrell Pryor out there, you put Chris Conley out there, you go 4 wide. Now all of a sudden you have a linebacker or a nickel corner covering Keelan Cole. You're telling me he's not going to do better than he did last year? My
concern with him, I mean, trust me, I love the backstory. Again, I was a huge Keelan Cole fan. But can you recover from that as a guy that wasn't the guy ever? Dude, he got nuked last year. He dropped everything after the big catch. Big plays, important plays. I mean, mentally, can you come back from that as that type of athlete on that stage?
I think Foles will elevate everyone. And I think if there's a quarterback that can get him out of that, we'll call it the yips or the psyche.
Yips issue. Is exactly what I was thinking about. Yes.
Yeah, then I think Foles is the best candidate for that. If you bring in a guy that's a gunslinger that's just going to dart you the ball,
okay.
But Foles will kind of bring you along as a team leader. I mean, Keelan Cole's PFF grade last year was 59.4, which is in the category of average for a wide receiver.
He was well below average last year.
But he had they had a great Patriots game. 120 yards,
but everything
touchdown.
Everything after that was okay. So Marquise Lee, we love because it was
we're watching the catch right now. I don't mean to cut you off, but literally the catch just happened.
I get that. And the year before, he was awesome. Dude, practice squad, awesome receiver. After that, though,
ooh,
oh god, that was such a good catch.
Apparently, he made a good one-handed catch in training camp the other day. He's a one-handed guy.
I get that, but we love Marquise Lee because of his first down catches, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that is if you need a first down, he's going to run the right route. He's going to get a yard behind where you need. He's going to catch it, and you're going to move the chains. That's what they tried to do with Keelan Cole last year, and he dropped them all. He dropped so many big catches last year that I have a hard time thinking he can recover from that. Just period. I hope he does, but I mean, and I agree. Foles will give him a big old man hug and be like, everything's all right. But dude, the first time he drops that first down catch, dude, I think it's right back to it.
I think he takes a step forward this year. I mean, he's only 26. I think he only benefits from the improvements in the offense that we've made in the offseason. I think he only improves from everyone getting healthy. I like Keelan Cole. I understand the hate. I do, but I like Keelan Cole. Okay. And I have a good feeling about him.
My opinion on that is, out of all of our wide receivers outside of Rashad Green, Keelan Cole is the worst.
Okay. I mean, and I understand your point.
Solely based on the fact that I don't think he can recover mentally.
So Keelan Cole had 70 targets, which is 31 less targets than D.D. Westbrook. Keelan Cole had 38 receptions, which is about 30 receptions less than D.D. Westbrook. He had 491 yards, which is 230 yards less than D.D. Westbrook. And he had 1 touchdown, which is 4 less than D.D. Westbrook.
Yeah, so more looks and less everything.
He had a 59 PFF grade. What I like about Keelan Cole is like he had success on both sides of the field. D.D. Westbrook had a lot of success on the right, not a lot of success on the left. Keelan Cole can kind of go anywhere. That's why I think he'll be a good third receiver.
I agree. If he is the third receiver, which is the question mark.
Yeah, that's true.
If the pressure's not on him to be the man, yes, I think he'll be a great complement to everything else. So I guess that moves us to DD's the number 1. So who's the number 2 then?
Well, before we move on to that, let's do a couple of Twitter questions here.
If that's not a Twitter question, then shame on you guys.
It probably is, but I wasn't looking. Okay, so this question's from Patrick Jackson, and he's at _Johansson. And he says, are you happy with our varied attack of similar tier receivers? Or would you prefer a clear-cut and out number 1 who would pick up a lot of double coverage?
First of all, PJ, I'm sorry that I haven't had to be able to respond to you in 2 weeks. That's my bad.
He's been asking about you.
I'm sure he has, and his life hasn't been the same. Just like mine hasn't, because I haven't been able to, interact over the internets with you, PJ. But I don't think that we have any idea what our offense is going to look like this year compared to what it has in the past. I think that's the number 1 thing. So, yeah, I mean, I think that factors into it as much as anything is like our offense is going to be way different this year, and we have no idea who they're going to use where, how they're going to use them. I mean, Jason might because he's way into that, but for me as like the fan, dude, I have no idea what they're going to do this year. If they do just like they did last year with Foles, then yeah, I mean, I guess so, but I don't think it's going to be like that, right?
Honestly, there's no telling, man. New offensive coordinator, new quarterback.
Well, plus new like offensive like guru. What is it?
I don't know what you're trying to say at all.
Dick, who's this guy that brought in?
Oh, he was defense.
Oh, defense. Sorry.
Yeah.
But all right. Anything else? Everything's changing.
Yeah, I agree. I think. Man, are they similar tiered? Like, maybe. I mean, Terrell Pryor, Chris Conley. Yeah, I guess D.D. Yeah.
No, our receivers, I agree, across the board are kind of the same. Like, we've got a bunch of number 2s and 3s.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's probably your 5 best receivers. D.D. Westbrook, Marquise Lee, DJ Chark, Keelan Cole, Chris Conley, Terrell Pryor. They're not all the same size. They're not all the same, like, play style, but they are kind of similar tier, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's not ideal,
to
answer your question. But when you're a team that's built on defense, it's probably the sacrifice you make, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to make the sacrifice on the offensive line. You don't want to make the sacrifice at quarterback. Running back, you're still got a guy in his rookie contract.
We're still hoping and praying.
So
fingers and toes crossed.
When you're spending all your money on defense and at quarterback,
you got to have a weak point somewhere, right?
Yeah. I mean, you look back over the Patriots' reign, how many like stud wide receivers have they had? Randy Moss.
Well, they had none to start with. They picked up a couple later in their career.
I'm talking. I mean, it's been like 15 years, and you think of there was a little stint with Randy Moss. There's a 1-year stint with Brandon Cooks, didn't work out. You think back, Wes Welker wasn't Patriots made him.
No, they had a bunch of like middle tier or wide receivers that worked in the system.
Right.
So our system this year, hopefully, is that.
Well, we'll see.
So let's go back to that, though. I mean, before we go to our Twitter question, because
Okay, I was about to.
Unless there's one about ranking the wide receivers.
There is.
Okay, well, let's move to
Kind
that
of. It's not a really rank question. We can rank them after.
Because I think that's important because, I mean, let's move to that then.
All right, so this question is from Jason Rat, and he's at RatHCP. And he says, how many receivers do you think make the final roster, and any chance an undrafted guy makes it?
Well, first of all, let me know who the undrafted guys are because I don't know.
Does Keelan Cole count as an undrafted guy?
Well, no, not at this point.
Okay,
He's
so
been on the
here's your undrafted guys. C.J. Board, Raphael Leonard, neither one of them, and Michael Walker don't make the team. Here are the two guys.
Yeah, go the hard no on those.
Yeah, here are the two guys that may. If these are the only two guys that could ball out in the preseason and make the team. Tyree Brady, big body wide receiver from Marshall, good. I mean, he would be our biggest 6'3", 201.
It's like goal line wide receiver, kind of like a tight end.
Super strong hands, but he's kind of light in the frame. He's 6'3", 201.
Oh, who cares at the goal line?
Yeah, he's kind of old. He's a redshirt senior at Marshall. He's got fluid hips. He could be a good special teams guy.
Said fluid hips.
Fluid hips is an attribute you want in someone that moves in the open field.
Well, Chark was a good special team guy. That doesn't help us on offense, though.
No, it doesn't. But I think Chark could contribute. All right, and so you got Tyree Brady out of Marshall, and the other guy that potentially could play his way onto the roster is Drednick Snelson.
Drednick
Snelson, and he was UCF's best receiver last year.
Did he come from the Czechoslovakia?
I don't know where he came
Republic
from.
of something?
I know that he's 5'11", 198.
Ooh.
He's fast, and he's a vertical wide receiver. He made some amazing catches. He's an explosive receiver. He's developing game. He's good at getting off the line of scrimmage. Not great in routes. He gets to his top speed fast. Basically, here's the guy that he is. Okay, so let's picture that we're calling this 10 formation. 10 formation means you have one running back and 0 tight ends. So you're in shotgun. You have Leonard Fournette next to you. There's no tight ends.
Which I think we might do that a lot.
Oh, yeah, they did a lot in Minnesota. That's why I'm using the example. 5 wide receivers. Okay, so then to your left, it's called 2 by 2.
Okay.
Obviously, 2 receivers on the left, 2 receivers on the right. So if we're breaking down film, you would call this 10 formation 2 by 2.
So it'd be like Lee, Chark on the right, a left, Dede on the right with whoever.
Right, so this is what I'm saying. This is where Snelson is most value is. You put Snelson in the slot, and if the other team is in cover 3, which means or cover 1, they have one high safety. You run your slot guys vertical. They're called seam routes.
And it pulls them out.
This dude is great at getting to that gap between the linebacker and the safety, and he can make the catch there.
Which that sounds like right up Nick Foles' alley.
In the modern NFL, where these teams are playing like the Jaguars,
is it like a Tyreek Hill?
Yeah. Tyreek Hill's a lot better.
Of course.
This I'm just going to give you an example of what this type of guy is.
Who'd you compare him to, that everybody recognizes because nobody's heard of the Russian assassin? Like a Wes Welker?
No.
Is he that guy?
Yeah, no. He's like a...
Sorry to put you in a spot.
No, yeah, I've never thought of a comparison for him. He's like a poor man's Torrey Smith.
Oh.
So...
nothing wrong with that.
No, but poor man's.
But he's fast.
Fast, yeah. Fast. He's explosive.
That's what we're missing. Is we don't have anybody that's
quick.
Fast. Westbrook is fast, but he's not fast.
Yeah. Well, then we have Trey McBride, who ran a 4.4 at the combine. But he got drafted by the Raiders or something like that.
Ask him to
yeah, no, he won't make the team.
Cut and make
But Snelson out of UCF and Brady out of Marshall are the only two guys that potentially make the team. But if we're
so the answer to that Twitter question is no.
So who are the 5 that make the team? How many receivers? Okay, he asked how many receivers. I would say 5 because typically 5 make the team.
That's an easy pick then. I mean, that's Lee, it's Westbrook, Chark,
Cole,
Conley, and Cole.
What about Pryor? Terrell Pryor?
Pryor is a work in progress. He might be like a tight end.
No.
I mean, I'm just saying, that's his body style. Dude, that guy's been the upside potential, in basketball. Hey, he's got upside potential. Or
yeah. Well, no, but he was good. He was good in 2016.
He was okay.
2016 was good. He had 800 yards in 2016 and 9 touchdowns.
So then we take 6 wide receivers if he's that good.
That's what I'm wondering. Okay, so you got Lee,
Westbrook,
Cole, Chark, Conley, and then Pryor. Does he make the team?
I don't see any of those guys getting cut.
Maybe Pryor. Man, Pryor might be the odd man out, right?
And your boy's not even on that list, Cole.
No, yeah, he is. Yeah, Westbrook. Lee, Cole, Chark, Conley.
I think Cole's the one that gets cut out.
He could. Man, he could.
So let's do that. Let's list our top 5.
Okay.
I mean, my top 5 is easily Didi's number 1, Lee's number 2, only because we don't know where he's at with his recovery because they've been silent about that, which I get. They don't want anybody else to know about that.
Yeah.
And then Chark has to make the leap, in my opinion. Right? I
Yeah.
mean, he was like a stud at LSU. He was open lots of times, and the ball was Blake Bortles' ball. Maybe he would catch it if Foles was throwing it.
And he did fumble a lot, too.
Yeah, and he was great on special teams. So I think that's like the top 3. And then you got, dude, I think Conley is going to be the guy. I think he just got left out at KC last year.
I mean, like Conley.
I do too.
Big, young, fast.
So I think he's 4. And then that 5th position, man, I mean, that's stout. You really think Cole makes it over
Pryor? Yeah.
You do?
I think they like Keelan Cole. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he got benched at the end of the year. Who knows, man? I don't know what they're
He
thinking.
got benched because he couldn't catch anything at the end of the year.
I agree with you. But he's making one-handers where he's not.
I've heard nothing out of him out of the preseason.
He had a one-hander, and I mean, for whatever that's worth.
I mean, I've heard good stuff about Chark. I've heard good stuff about everybody.
You don't hear much about Pryor, though. I don't know, man. I mean,
he's a specimen, dude. He's like that project that hasn't worked out.
He's been a project since like 2015.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
He got drafted in like 2011, played quarterback for like 3 years.
So I don't think any of the undrafteds are making it.
They would have to like ball out. Like they have to like ball out. And with
I think the question mark is Lee. Is he back?
Yeah, but he's going to be on the team because when he's healthy, he's 1 or 2.
If he can come back anywhere close to where he was.
That's true.
I mean, he's
but
had
this
multiple
is like modern
injuries.
NFL. If this was like 1980, I think you have a valid point. But I mean, nowadays, everyone comes when they're young. Everyone comes back to a certain point.
He's not that young anymore, dude.
I mean,
27, 28.
Yeah, that's young.
And he's had multiple injuries, and he's not back on the field. He's not doing reps.
But he was really good in 2017.
He was. I mean, everybody was good in 2017. Good.
No, but he was the best out of our group.
Sure.
And he was the best in 2016. He had more yards in 2016.
So you guarantee that Lee is going to be a producer next year?
I don't know when, but eventually, yeah. I don't know if it
might.
Can you risk that? It might not be until week 10.
5-6 games? 10 games?
Yeah. But you can't
cut him. You throw him in IR and put one of those guys in there?
No.
Wow. So, yeah, all the undrafted rookie wide receivers are done then.
Yeah, unless someone beats out Cole and Pryor.
All right.
Like if a Tyree Brady goes off and I think Brady and Snelson, I think one of those guys makes the practice squad, maybe both.
And that's a guy. A lot of them might be on the practice squad. I agree
that's
with
a guy
that.
they flex up when there's an injury or something like that.
Fair enough.
So
that might be the longest answer to a Twitter question ever.
That's okay. Where you go in depth here?
I don't see them keep more than 5.
All right. Well, before we take a break, I want to read this one last Twitter comment. Okay, and this was at us. They quoted our tweet and they put this at this, and this is from Twitter name DD Westbrook.
What?
And his @ is DD the Great 11. And he said to our tweet about DD Westbrook, it's going to be a Caps real big year.
Man, DD, I'm glad you're finally listening. We've been touting you for almost 2 years now.
Yeah. So
longer than that.
Probably our most famous Twitter comment so far.
Yeah. You guys blow up DD and say, hey, I appreciate the comment. Yeah. And we agree, dude. You're our guy. Like, if I'm buying jerseys next year, there's 2 that I'm thinking about buying. It's Foles and it's DD.
Really? No Minshew?
If he comes out with some if he comes out with some jean shorts that are like Jaguar colors, like the Minshew shorts, I'll go that route. But no, not jersey.
I'm just telling you right now, if there's ever a game that
maybe a Minshew T-shirt with his number on it,
I would do jersey tee,
jersey tee. I would do that.
If there's ever a game like let's say week 16, Jags are like locked in to the number 1 spot. They're saying Minshew starting the game.
I'm going to the game.
I'm going to shave my mustache into a Minshew mustache, and I will wear jean shorts.
I'm ready.
So
I'm with you.
I'm do it.
I'll commit to that right now.
So yeah, hey, I think it'll happen. All right, well, we got to take a break. This is break number 1, another Jags podcast. This is episode 72. Thank you guys. We're going to get some more of your Twitter questions and talk about the wide receivers. Make sure to listen to these ads and support the ads because usually there are other podcasts. So
we'll have a Jorts ad soon.
Jorts, I'd be good with that.
Yeah,
I'd be good with that.
It might be our own. We might have to throw it like
maybe
the brand
a
out
little
there.
Picture.
Yeah,
maybe make our new little profile picture.
Yeah,
us and
something.
Jorts. All right. Well, we'll get some more after this. We will be right back.
Sounds good.
All right, welcome back to episode 72 of another Jags podcast. It's me and Joey sitting here tonight on a beautiful Wednesday night. We'll probably put this out tomorrow, so it'll be Thursday if you're listening to our podcast. But remember, you can watch our show live on YouTube. We have a live show.
I think some people are right now.
Yeah, no, we got some people watching it right now, and feel free to interject with your questions and comments.
Which is awesome. Like, if you are watching, like, comment, because we get that as we're talking, and Jason picks that up. I don't, but
yeah,
it's
we'll nice because we want this show to be about the fans, so
it's even more fun that way.
Absolutely. I mean, what do we know? We're just two dudes on a couch.
Something. We'll give you our opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So we wanted to kick it off.
Two dudes on a couch. That's a good name for a podcast. All right, carry on.
All right, so we're talking about the wide receivers. We've been breaking down different position groups. We're talking about wide receivers right now. But before we get to the wide receivers, there was recently. How recently was this article come out?
It was like today.
Or,
I would say Sunday through today, maybe. At some point during that time, ESPN put out.
So sometime this week. Sometime this week, yeah.
I want to say it was today, though. The latest yesterday, maybe. But ESPN put out their rankings of, like, what they thought were going to be the best teams for next year. And they didn't really, release, like, the analytics of, like, how they ranked it or anything. I mean, but it's ESPN, so, I mean, that's pretty legitimate. The Jaguars were at 19.
Yeah.
I mean, we were 5 and awful last year, so I mean, I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that prior to last season, a lot of the national media got burned by the Jaguars, and they're not big on getting burned. I mean, that's not really their forte, because everybody was, you had Romo picking us to go to the Super Bowl. You had, Prisco like giving us like top props, and they got burned, so we're going to have to prove it this year. I mean, it's a prove-it year. We're back to the chip on the shoulder, which I love, man. That's my favorite thing in the world other than
That's
backstory.
True. That's your favorite.
I mean, we're back to chip on your shoulder. And if you want to kind of continue that, like Jalen Ramsey, you saw the Schefter podcast. Like, did you hear about that?
Yes.
So, like, he was on the Schefter podcast. He's like, everybody that he banned from Twitter and everything, all the media he's put back on there. Schefter asked him during that podcast, what do you think of the quarterbacks you're going to play this year? And, his response was like, really, you're going to go there? Like, I'm not doing that. So, I mean, he seemed to have matured a little bit. And I think last year we just got too blown up nationally. We got big heads, and it showed. And this year, I think all across the board, they're kind of refocused, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's a good point about the national media getting burned last year, because we all got burned. Yeah. And the national media, they take pride in their predictions, and a lot of them got them wrong. I mean, I think a large part of that is due to injuries. We've talked about that in the past to nausea. But if you think about it, like, we picked was it 7th this year? So that means technically we would be like the 25th worst team.
Yeah.
So the national media, so ESPN is saying,
I guess that's still giving us some credit.
Yeah,
right?
We're going to get better.
Man, Jason is a homer of all homers right there. That's the best comment I've heard all week.
Usually I'm like the pessimist, though.
Yeah, that's
usually,
true.
like, I get so much crap on Twitter for being like,
I think you're the pessimist, like, individually, but like on a the larger scheme of things, you're definitely a Jaguar homer.
Yeah, I'm one of the biggest Jags fans like you'll ever meet. Like,
that is a great point. You're right. I mean, where we picked, we should be ranked lower than that.
Yeah,
exactly. Is that the full signing?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe, I mean, I doubt they've done any research on us getting healthier, but I mean, I think we're going to get healthier.
Yeah,
so.
nobody cares about us enough to like actually look into our offensive line or anything like that. I mean,
absolutely not. Let's get back to receivers. We've kind of already talked a little bit about D.D. Westbrook, Keelan Cole, and Marquise Lee. Before we move on, Dave Meyering, and he's at Dave Meyering, and he had a comment about Westbrook. He said 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns. Mark my words.
Wow, man, Dave, I was almost there. I said 1,208.
So you and Dave are kind of the same accord.
12 touchdowns, though. I mean, that's like...
I mean...
You're talking about like Brown numbers there, right?
That's good. I mean...
You're talking about like top 3 receivers in the league.
Yeah, I mean, it's
12 touchdowns?
Yeah, that's a lot.
You're not getting that from Julio Jones. I mean, you might get like 1,200 yards, but you're not getting 12 touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, we talked a little bit about Chris Conley. Let's get into Chris Conley a little bit here. We talked about how he was at Kansas City, kind of overshadowed in that offense. I mean, you're looking at guys like Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill, guys like who's the running back out of the backfield. I know everyone's yelling at me right now. I'm sorry, but
yeah, he's not went to Washington, right?
Yeah, and so I mean they had a lot of like pass catching options.
Dude, he had like 8 options on every play.
Yeah, not Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
So
Kelce.
I mean Conley kind of got lost in the shuffle down there. So, but what's interesting about Conley is that he had 5 touchdowns last year.
Which is pretty amazing considering all that.
That's the most. Our highest player, D.D. Westbrook, had 5.
I think Conley's going to blow some people away.
I do too. I'm excited about Conley. I kind of threw out on Twitter if people thought Conley would match Moncrief's numbers from last year.
I think he's going to blow away his touchdowns. Yards, man. I mean, Moncrief had a lot of garbage yards, so it's kind of hard to.
Yeah, I mean, he had 668 yards and 3 touchdowns. Yeah, he did. 89 targets. I mean, that's only.
But his yards and touchdowns were garbage time. Like there was never an important play that he factored into.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good touchdown against the Patriots, which we were just watching, and not a bad receiver. But so you think that not DJ Chark, you think Chris Conley is going to have over 668 yards?
I think he's going to be our third receiver.
Okay.
And I'm not basing it on anything other than the fact that he bought a surfboard.
He did.
And loves to surf and was at Sunrise. So
no, I see that guy everywhere. It's insane. He's all around the beach.
I mean, you gotta like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, the last guy that was around the beach was Blake Bortles, and he panned out perfectly.
So if you're happy to be where you work and you came from a situation to where you don't feel like you had the opportunity, he's obviously stoked to be here. And he's buying into it, and I think that has got to show dividends. And that was Westbrook down the left side, by the way.
Well, that was a punt return. So
I missed the first part of that play.
So we're watching. Ooh, look at Leonard. So we're watching the Jags and the Jags and the Steelers game from this year, which I think was like week 11. And
look at that.
We're watching. D.D. Westbrook had a very nice punt return.
Yeah.
That's an underrated part of D.D. Westbrook's game is the punt returning.
Dude.
Like
He's
we
awesome.
haven't talked about that at all. Like he's a good punt returner.
Yes.
So
he's our solidified number one, man.
Yeah, no,
in
he's
my
good.
opinion.
No, he's good for sure.
But I think Conley is our number 3.
Well,
worst case.
Duval Hot Takes, and they're at Duval Hot Takes, and there are Big Cat Country brothers.
Yes.
You can also find them on the Big Cat Country podcast network. They do good stuff.
Yeah, listen to them. They have some good points.
And they said not only will Chris Conley match that bum, referring to Moncrief's production, but you can pencil me in for having it beat by the bye week. Mark it.
Our bye week is week 7.
So
we'll have to look that up.
So Duval Hot Takes are big fans of Chris Conley.
I would have to agree. I mean,
we could probably get them on and
I could see that happening though, like numbers wise, easily.
It's just I mean maybe.
Dude, I was the biggest Bortles fan out of probably anybody in Jacksonville, other than maybe Bortles' mom.
Oof, nice interception.
I mean, I was a huge fan of his because of everything he brought to the game outside of maybe throwing a good pass.
Yeah.
But you look at the passes he threw, even the ones that were caught, dude, he was questionable on most of them. Foles is not.
Yeah.
Like, Foles doesn't have the get out of the pocket, like run it, make it happen with his legs, 18 yards when you need it. He's not going to be that guy. But, dude, the guy throws a good ball, and he throws a great short ball. So, no way that Conley doesn't have an impact.
I think he has an impact. I just don't know if he puts up wide receiver 2 numbers. He may.
I didn't say 2. I said 3.
Yeah, but I would think 700 yards is wide receiver 2 numbers. No? Am I off on that? I mean, there's no tight end, so I mean, maybe
I think
not.
we're throwing a lot more this year than everybody thinks, man. That was my point earlier. It's
yeah.
Like, we are not going to have the same offense that we did. Yes, we're going to be in the trenches, and we're going to run the ball. But, dude, we're going to because we can. We can open it up, man. We have a quarterback that can. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? Modern NFL, you're right. It's a good point.
You're going to have to.
Does Fournette and Ramsey just own the Steelers or what? Like,
they do.
That's just disgusting.
And I'm just going to go out there and, we're not talking about DBs at this point. We will. But, I mean, I've been hard on Ramsey, but, God, Ramsey's the man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's just no doubt at this point.
I'm, like, super scared that we are misplaying his contract.
Really?
Yeah. Did you see him post the pictures of, like, Kevin Byard?
You don't pay him this year, though. There's no way. Then you don't pay Ngakoue if you do, which is our third leader in. I mean, we're getting way ahead of ourselves.
I know. It's just like,
groups,
dude, I would rather have Ramsey than Ngakoue and Telvin Smith. Like, that's how much I like Ramsey.
Well, Telvin's gone.
I'm just saying, like, I would love to have Ramsey back, and I hope we didn't mess it up by not.
He's one of the best players in the entire NFL.
Yeah,
without a doubt, unquestionable.
All right, this next question is from Angus Seymour, and he's at Dasgus, and he says, "Are there any attributes of our current wide receiver core that should be worrying other defenses?"
Yeah, D.D. Westbrook's speed, his grittiness, and Lee's route running. Or Chark's speed and size, man, and his hands when the ball's thrown to him in a spiral. I mean, I think Chark is probably the wild card of our entire season. That's a good question for that. I mean, I would have to say so. I mean, the dude's prototypical size. He was open. I mean, if you look at watch games from last year, he was open. Like, he can get open. He can get in position. And he dropped some balls, and he got balls thrown to him that were absolute crap. I think Chark is like the make or break of our wide receiver core. And I'll probably add that to this question because that's kind of a good point.
He had a bad PFF grade last year, 51.6.
Yes.
32 targets, only 14 receptions. I mean, that's
because they don't take into account a second-year receiver that is special teams like Guru.
Yeah.
That is open all the time and can't catch a wobbly ball that's thrown to him.
But at some point, you either can catch
the ball
or you can't.
But he was open.
Yeah.
He ran the right routes. He got open. A good quarterback gets that to him.
Yeah,
I think he is the wild card of our team.
Yeah, that's solid. I mean, I'm hopeful for him. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Oh man, double sneeze there. But I'm hopeful for him. He plays good on the left side. I mean, he had 7 targets when he was lined up on the left. Had 6 receptions. So if that means something to anybody, I think if there's attributes of our current wide receiver core that should be worrying other defenses is that we can take the top off of some of these. I mean, we're talking about a receiving core that maybe isn't the most spectacular as far as name, but as far as can get vertical. D.D. Westbrook, Keelan Cole, Chark, Conley, Pryor, all those guys can get vertical.
We got 4 or 5 guys that run sub 5, 4 or 5 40s.
We got some vertical threats.
We do.
We're going to be able to take tops off the defenses, and I'm, pretty excited about that because we haven't had that in a while.
No, usually we got the slow guys that run good routes and catch 8-yard routes.
Yeah.
So we have the opposite of that, and they just need a good quarterback to throw to them is what I am firmly believing. Go Jags.
Referring to the Conley-Moncrief comparison.
There's no comparison, but okay. Finish the question.
Nick Foles is my quarterback. That's his name on Twitter. And he's at FolesLS.
Really? His Twitter name is Nick Foles is my quarterback?
Yes. And he says Chris Conley may double Dante Moncrief's production. We got some big believers in Chris Conley.
I'm calling BS on that Twitter name.
No, that's his name. You can make your name anything you want. But your his at is Foles LS.
Well, still, he's got a Foles handle.
Yeah, people change them though, depending on how they're feeling.
So double. So what were
doubles? That's 1,200, 1,300 yards,
and 6 touchdowns,
and 10 touchdowns.
Ugh.
Or no, 6 touchdowns. You're right.
Still though, really?
It's a lot of yards, man.
I mean, there's only so many people that are gonna get those yards.
Yeah, but he's gonna throw to the running backs a lot, and I mean,
I could easily see 6 touchdowns though. I mean,
Yeldon had almost 500 yards last year,
which he was the number 1 receiver halfway through the year. So let's factor that in.
He had, O'Shaughnessy had 214 yards. That's where the other yards went last year.
I mean, honestly, we have Dede and a healthy Lee. Hopefully, that's 2. That's all we have to bank on.
Keelan Cole.
No, everybody else is a X factor.
Yeah.
Everybody else is somebody else is going to step up in 3rd and 4th role, or somebody might blow up and be the number 1 or number 2. But that's a bold prediction, man. I can't back that.
Well, That is bold. I can't either. If that happens, then I'll be really happy because that means our team's doing really good. But
we're throwing up like 50 on KC at that point. I mean,
yeah, that's true. Well, do we want to touch on Terrell Pryor before we take our second break and we get to our questions? That
I think we should because
have nothing to do with wide
Terrell
receivers.
Pryor. Terrell Pryor is like I don't know. He's that guy, man. Like everybody has expected him because of his he's an elite athlete. Like he's a freak of nature, right? Like as far as like his capabilities.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but he's never like lived up to that potential.
He did though. In 2016, he had a good year.
Okay, what is that year?
2016. Let's see here. Let's look it up. I'll look it up. I think it was like 800 yards and like 10 touchdowns.
Which again is like tight end numbers.
That's good for a guy that was he was on Cleveland. Cleveland when they weren't winning games. Cleveland.
810 with Cleveland?
Yes. Look, all right. So I got it right here. Let's see here.
Should I do a drum roll? Because
drum roll. 2016. He had not as many as I thought here. This can't be. Oh, this is passing. This is passing. I was looking at his passing yards.
Because he's basically like our third string quarterback.
Yeah, hold on.
I agree.
Okay, I was right. 2016. He started 15 games, played in all 16 games.
Okay, so he's healthy scratch that year.
140 targets.
Because they had nobody else. All right, continue.
77 receptions.
That's not bad.
1,007 yards.
How many touchdowns?
4 touchdowns.
Wow.
Yards per reception, 13.1.
That's stout.
That is 8 rushes for 21 yards. So throw another 21 on top of that.
Call him Slash. And if every quarterback goes down, he's going to be throwing the ball.
1,000 yards receiving in 2016.
There's no way that guy does not make the team.
Well, 2017, he had 240 yards with the Redskins on 9 games only and 2 games started.
You can't trust anything they do.
And then he played for 2 teams in 2018 for a total of 8 games played and 1 game started for a combination of 252 yards and 2 touchdowns.
But we got him for a bargain. Which is what we've done all year.
No, yeah. I mean, the guy might not make the team, but
I think he makes the team because of his ability to play multiple options.
Let me throw this stat at you, Joey.
What was the question?
No, we're just talking about Terrell Pryor. There's no question.
Okay.
So my dog, Terrell Pryor, had a 58.2 PFF grading. That would make him the second best wide receiver last year on our team.
Which shows how stupid
PFF
grades are.
Oh, okay. Maybe not, though. Okay. Look, he played in 6 games with the Jets and had 235 yards.
Yeah, there should be a standard, you have to play in 9 games to have a PFF
I'm just
grade.
telling you, but 16.8 yards per reception in those 6 games.
So a backup quarterback comes in and plays
6 games and plays good?
A game and a half.
That's literally Garoppolo. You come in and play 6 games, you play well, then that's good. Look, okay. I'm not done. I'm not done yet.
Going to argue
that
PFF's
I'm not done.
Accurate in that case.
Middle of the field. 11 targets, 8
Which
receptions.
is why he's like a tight end.
That's what I'm saying. But that's fine with me.
I agree.
I mean, you look at a guy. O'Shaughnessy had 214 yards.
I'm telling you, he's making the team as our 5th wide receiver and our
over Keelan Cole.
Yes.
Over a guy who had almost 500 yards receiving for us last year.
Yes, because he had 500 yards in the first 4 games and then dropped everything after that. And he can't go over the middle. He's not a goal line guy.
How did we lose this game against the Steelers? Ramsey had 2 interceptions.
I'm guessing it has something to do with Keelan Cole.
2 interceptions, 1 in the end zone. We were up 9-0 with 7 minutes left in the third quarter.
And then they blew us out.
We just couldn't score in the red zone. That was our problem.
Oh, such a good play.
Look at that interception. He just owns Antonio Brown.
Ramsey is so good. And he's kind of stopped running his mouth. Run your mouth on the field all you want, Ramsey.
No, I like him the way he is. Don't change Jalen. Please don't change.
Don't run it. No,
Jalen's my favorite NFL player.
He's changing for the good, though. He's not being baited into running his mouth.
He's embarrassed because the team was such dog crap last year.
No, he's not being baited.
The second
into
we're
running
good
his
again,
mouth.
he's gonna be the same way.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. He's not getting baited. It just I don't like the new Jalen.
So you think he should have ran his mouth?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I love that Jalen.
All you crap quarterbacks. You're crap, even though you beat us last year.
Jalen
Really?
is my
How's that
favorite
sound?
player in the NFL, and he's been. And I don't know if I've liked anyone as much as him since like Maurice Jones-Drew. Like when he retires, he may go down in the Jaguar history as my favorite Jaguar ever.
It's possible.
All right, so Terrell Pryor, 8 for 11 in the middle of the field, 150 yards in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
I think he could be that middle of the field guy for,
our
for
tight
Nick
end.
Foles.
Which you laughed at the beginning of the segment.
No,
Now you're backing up my comment with your own stats.
That's a good point. Is Terrell Pryor the Jags tight end for 20?
It might be, man.
2019?
He's making the team, and he will be that option.
You can't be worse than what we have. I mean, Jeff Swaim sure isn't going to catch you any balls, and Nose Shaughnessy is what he is.
I think he makes the team, absolutely. I think that puts more of pressure on Keelan Cole. I mean, Rashad Green, man, love that. Like, that guy's like the best ever. Like, how are you that guy?
He's done.
And
now.
you're still,
This is it for
dude.
him.
Everybody says that, and he's back in the league the next year. Like, he's my hero. Like, that guy's awesome.
Does Josh Olsen do anything in the receiving game for us?
I don't even know who that is. So I'm gonna go with a big hard no on
the tight
that.
end we just drafted in the third round.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with no on that.
We drafted him in the third round.
Olsen. I'm sorry, the guy from. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That guy's a stud.
Yeah. Do you think he? What do you think he adds receiving wise?
I'm rookie year with. I mean, because he's a project.
Yeah.
He's an absolute project, but he's a freaking nature, like physically. So I think he goes like 403 touchdowns, and I'd be happy with that.
400. I'd be real happy with that. That's
Yeah.
double what O'Shaughnessy gave us last year.
Well, O'Shaughnessy is O'Shaughnessy, man.
I like O'Shaughnessy.
But he's not.
I think he'll be better with a better quarterback.
He absolutely will, but he's not near of a athletic specimen at all.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he's not. He's.
No, yeah, I know you're right. I'm with
Yeah.
you. I'm with you.
I mean, dude might like completely flame out, but he has the potential to be like something special.
All right. Well, we have a couple more questions that have nothing to do with the receiving core.
Thank God.
So we're going to take a break to put ads in, and then we're going to keep talking. So if you are listening just for the wide receivers, this is the time we would advise you to move on to your next podcast that you listen to. But if you like listening to our podcast and you want to hear more talk about the Jags and more questions and comments from the fans, listen to these.
If you have a comment about what we said about the wide receivers, throw it up there right now.
Yeah, put it on YouTube so we can comment on it. We could be way off on stuff.
I don't think we are, but yeah, it's possible.
In the moment, I always think that, and I go back and listen to it, and I'm like, well, we were way off on that.
I think the only thing we've been way off of ever is the draft when we got Allen.
I wasn't too happy about the Foles thing right away either.
I was, though. So you might have been off on
Yeah.
that.
Okay. I guess we'll still see on both of them. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll throw some ads in. Thank you to everyone that's listening. Find us on. Jeez, how to get so open on that play. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, all right. So follow us on Twitter, Another Jags Pod, Facebook, Instagram, Another Jags Podcast, YouTube, our live show every Wednesday. We'll be right back to finish up our wide receiver talk. All right, welcome back to episode 72, the wide receiver show of another Jags podcast. We've pretty much broken down all of the receivers on the team.
And I think at this point we understand why nobody in the local media is breaking down the wide receivers. Would you agree with that?
I don't really want to get started on the local media because I feel like they haven't talked about the Jags in like 2 months.
Well, they kind of have, but they've beat around the bush. It's more like
I can't,
generalities.
I can't handle it. They'll go entire segments talking about like anything but the Jaguars.
But they will talk about like Fournette. They will talk about Foles. They will talk about whoever's not showing up, but they won't like identify the wide receivers. I think they're doing it for the reason.
I listen to the local radio almost as much as you, maybe not as much, but we feel completely different about the local media. I am not a fan of not of the people. I like the people as people, but I just can't handle listening to like their personal lives. Like I don't like. Do we talk about our personal lives very much on this show?
Very, very little.
We know because you guys don't care about.
But we're not on like every day.
Even so, I don't think I would talk about what kind of beer I like for an entire segment.
I was just trying to say like we're tackling something that nobody else is willing to.
Sorry, I got a little off there.
You
brought it up though.
You kind of got a little deep there, a little dark, but I agree. But the point being is like we're talking about something nobody else is.
Yeah, that's a good point because it's it's hard to know until we see.
What's next?
All right, so we got some couple questions that have nothing to do with the wide receivers.
Okay.
What do they do with the Jags?
I love it.
This first question is from Coach Pete, and he's at Coach L Tweets.
Okay.
And he says, preference between Jerry Jeudy or T. Higgins for our first-round pick next year.
I'm going to have to defer to Jason on this
I
one
knew
because
you would.
that was like Latin to me. So,
go
ahead.
All right, so the first guy that I really like is T. Higgins. Okay, he's a wide receiver from Clemson. He is 6'4", 210. He was just named second team All-ACC. Good player. 13 games, 17 receptions, 345 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not amazing numbers, but...
So is that somebody we're getting like with the late round picks?
No, he's going to be probably a first-round pick next year, 100%.
So we're going to suck next year then is what
No, I mean, who knows where he could fall in the first round. We could trade up.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, he's saying he could suck.
So that's like a legit wide receiver
should be targeting. He's good. No,
okay.
T. Higgins is good.
All right.
Then you got Jerry Jeudy, and he plays at Alabama. He's a junior this year. He is also a good receiver. Not as big, 6'1", 192, but he did just win the Blendikoff Award.
I have to say just like based on name alone, I think Judge Judy, like I don't want that guy on my team.
Well, this guy was first team All-SEC, and he was the consensus All-American, and he won the Blendikoff, which means he was the best wide receiver in football.
Does that mean as much as like a bad name?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
to say yes, it does, you idiot.
I don't know how to.
Just say it.
I don't know how to answer that, and I hope that you.
So Judge Judy, we want to draft next year. We all agree.
We probably need a receiver next year, and that's what he's saying.
We definitely need a receiver next year.
We'll see. Who knows how Marquise Lee comes back, though? If Marquise Lee comes back and plays like 2017 Marquise Lee, and D.D. Westbrook plays like 2018 Marquise Lee.
Do you not doubt he'll get hurt again a year from now?
Apparently, Chris Conley's the next Randy Moss, according to our Twitter followers.
I agree with our Twitter followers, I think.
We've got Terrell Pryor, the most athletic wide receiver that's ever played the game. 1,000 yards receiving in 2016.
Right, so Judge Judy for the win. Great question. What's next?
I would like Jerry Jeudy. I think he's going to be a better pro.
Jerry? It's not Judge?
T. Higgins will also be good. He's big body guy. This next question is from Trebe Talks.
Trebe.
And Trebe Talks is good. If you haven't yet, go on Trebe's YouTube channel, and then I was actually on Trebe's channel talking about running backs.
He does a good video work, for sure.
It was fun. Let's just say it was
fun.
Was it? Yeah, it was all right.
He does a good job.
He does a good job.
Yeah.
I kind of went into it like without my notes, so I kind of had to go off the top of my head. So like I thought about it afterwards, and I was like, I forgot to say so much stuff, but no one's.
That's not Trebe's fault. That's your fault.
It absolutely is my fault.
Okay, fair enough.
But he wants to know who runs a faster 40-yard dash, Joey or Jason?
Oh, Jason would have crushed me.
I don't want to be arrogant, but yeah,
I mean without a doubt,
I would crush him.
Jason at 22 and Joey at 22. I think that would be a You could put money in either one and go either way.
To be fair, at 22, I was very like stocky. I worked out a lot when I was 22.
So did I.
I've gotten into the, but I'm saying I'm faster now than I was at 22.
Okay, well, take me at 23 and Jason now.
Yeah.
It'd be a damn good race. Because right now, dude, yeah, I would sit there and like laugh as Jason ran because I was not running.
But I would have to warm up for like 10, 15 minutes. That's one thing that I've noticed as I've gotten older has changed. Like back in the day, if you want me to run a 40, I'd line up and run the 40 and I would just run it. Now, if I did that, I would 100% injure a muscle without warming up.
Well, I guess we have to like kind of take it back because are there rules involved with the 40? Because like if they're not, like I would take off and then completely tackle him.
You know what's funny is Patrick Jackson.
And I might like finish.
Patrick Jackson on Twitter said that Joey would trip Jason.
I would completely cheat. Patrick, man, me and you are like kindred spirits, bro. Because I would absolutely take him out. He'd not see it coming because he'd think I was trying to be legit.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what would happen.
Yeah. Man, I couldn't believe we lost this game.
And he'd wake up with like grass stains and like mad.
I would be mad.
But like straight away, fair race, Jason would blow me out of the water.
I'm a very competitive individual. It doesn't matter.
And you're also like way more in shape and like 10 years younger than me. So
that's true.
All that factors in.
That's true.
Yeah. But I would cheat.
All right, this last question is from Noah Bennett, and he's at the Noah Bennett. We probably should have asked this earlier because it actually has to do with the Jags a little bit. But he says, not a wide receiver question, but are people underappreciating the Josh Lambo extension? In a league where kickers are a premium, are we expected to play a lot of tight games? Is this the best move of the offseason?
I think there's no issue at all like leaving this question for last because at Noah Bennett has been one of our OG followers and always asks good questions, and that is a fantastic question, man. I mean, Lambo got kicked to the curb by the state that I don't care about out west, and dude, he's nailed it, man. He's been a Jacksonville guy. He's been all over the community. He's been money. That's a great signing, right?
Great signing. Is it the best signing of the offseason?
Well, outside of Foles.
Yeah. I mean, apparently Chris Conley is going to be a Pro Bowler.
Well,
no, I like Lambo.
If you're talking odds, I mean, Foles is obviously the number one signing.
Yeah.
Lambo is the no-brainer signing. And the rest of them are kind of like, you're playing craps. I mean, like, we hope one, like, pans out.
Yeah, I like Lambo. I mean, I can't be upset with Lambo. He's been really good. But let's just take a second and pump the brakes because we've all seen kickers that we love that are great
like fall apart.
Just fall off.
Yeah.
And really, Lambo's like back end of the year wasn't all that great.
I mean, the kicker position is like a golfer. Like it's such a mental game. Like you miss a couple like extra points or miss like a 30-yard field goal, and dude, you're done for your career. Like can't get it back. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But
that's exactly. I mean, a golfer is a great comparison.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, like you fall apart mentally because of the pressure. I mean, look at Scobie when he went to Pittsburgh. I mean, he's admitted that himself. Like he went there, he couldn't deal with the new scene, couldn't deal with the pressure, and just lost his ability.
Isn't that weird, man? He went from like hero.
Dude, he's like a
to
legend,
zero. Yeah.
and he understands that. He's like, dude, I couldn't deal with it. Like I lost the ability to do it.
That's crazy.
Hopefully that doesn't happen to Lambo, man, because he was like our one consistent thing last year, right? Plus his name is like a really cool car, so I like that.
I like Lambo. I'm rooting for him.
Why are we talking bad things about people that did good? Lambo's going to do the same thing next year, man. Great question, Noah. Lambo, great signing. I'm speaking that into the world.
Putting it in the atmosphere.
I'm putting
like
it
that.
out there.
All right.
Great signing.
So let's just wrap it up with this because I don't think we answered this. I think I asked it, and I apologize if we didn't answer it. This question is from Darren Frazier, and he's at TD Frazi. Me and Darren, before I read this question.
Frazi, though? I mean, really?
I think it's like Frazi, like his last name. He just cut it off there. So I don't know how else to say it. Like
you said it kind of weird.
What, Frazi?
It's like I'm trying to be like fancy. I'm bougie.
Let me tell you a little about Darren. So I met Darren playing flag football. I was playing on James's flag football team when I was like 16. And right. So I was just like,
They called in the ringer, who was apparently not fast, but very stocky at that point.
no, at 16 I was legit fast.
Oh, so you went like from fast to stocky to
yeah,
fast.
when I got
again.
to college, I was like, oh, I'm trying to impress these like college chicks.
Gotcha,
so I was
gotcha.
hitting the gym hard.
Yeah, got to get big, swole.
No,
Okay.
yeah. I've always been a good 7-on-7 football player.
Yeah.
Okay, like put the pads on. I was, played, but wasn't like awesome.
Sure. I have a feeling you're gonna say this guy was like the man.
Darren was like, and is still like 6'5" or 6'6",
That's a big dude.
and he played receiver on this flag football team, and he was like in his 20s. I was like 16, and I was so arrogant. I was like, dude, I can moss this guy anytime I want. Way bigger than me, but I was like, I can just jump with him. So I would always want to cover him. I would always play DB against him, and it was like 50-50. Sometimes he would catch it on me. Sometimes I would knock it away.
Dude, a 6'5" guy that keep up with you, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so we had a little like rivalry, even though we're on the same team. Like in practice, I would always go up against him,
Okay.
and so it was fun because I had some good memories. That was when I was like young and could jump, right? Like dunk basketball, which now
Nice.
I can only dunk a tennis ball. So
Yeah,
it's
that's how it
sad
goes.
how you regress in life. Anyways, this question is from Darren Frazier. He says, and now it's just this will end our show. What is your thought on the depth chart order for week 1? Give me your depth chart order.
Preseason or actual
Starting week 1.
week 1? Okay. My hope to God is that it's
No, I don't want to hear your hope. I want to
Okay.
hear
All right,
what
I actually
will
think it's
be
going to
it.
be.
This is your prediction.
It's
So
gonna
when
be-
we go back and listen to this and we are in week
All right,
1,
my
we can
prediction
see.
is going to be Dede. It's going to be Chark. It's going to be Conley, and it's going to be. I don't know for the fourth man. Honestly, I can't. I cannot. You know me. I'll.
So you
throw
said
some-
Dede, Chark, Conley. So
Lee.
Lee's out?
Lee's going to be the fourth.
Lee's the 4th?
I don't think Lee is healthy by then, man.
That's what I was going
I
to say.
don't
Like,
think
I'm
he's
with
there.
I'm with you if you
So
think.
I don't know who the fourth's going to be.
I'm with you. If you say Lee's not going to be there,
I don't think he's
I'm
going to be
with
there.
you on
I
that.
don't think
but
Lee's
he's not
gonna
going to
be
be the
there.
4 if he's not there. So
My-
basically, you're between Pryor and you're between Cole.
My point is that I don't think Lee is ready for game 1. I'll give you 3. I have no idea who the fourth's going to be because Lee's not going to be available. He ain't playing in the preseason. There's no way. And you're going to tell me that a guy's going to step in after over a year of no like real time?
So where does Chark fit in there? You said Chark was 2? Is that what you said he was?
I did.
You said Westbrook, Chark,
And Conley.
Conley. So where does that leave Cole, Pryor?
I don't know.
Or
That's
Lee.
what I'm saying. I don't think Lee's available. Or
So Lee's not available.
Or it would be a no brainer.
So
Those
you
are the
think
4.
Pryor and Cole are like toss-ups at 4 and 5?
Pryor and Core are fighting for that position.
So that means there's another receiver on the roster there then.
Well, I mean, no, because you're not putting Lee on IR. He's
But
just
you
got to
have a guy on the roster that can play wide receiver in case you need him. I mean, you got to have at least
Sure.
5 that can play. So we talking Snelson? We talking Brady?
I don't know.
Here's my depth chart 1 through 5. Week 1. Number 1, Marquise Lee. Number 2, Dede Westbrook. Number 3, Keelan Cole. Number 4, Chris Conley. Number 5, Terrell Pryor.
Chark's not in your top 5?
Okay, let me take that back. Let me start over.
All right.
Number 1, Marquise Lee. Number 2, Dede Westbrook. Number 3, DJ Chark. Number 4, Keelan Cole. Number 5, Chris Conley. And I think Terrell Pryor's on the team for at least half the season. And then it gets cut halfway through.
And that's your Fantasyland lineup.
This is not my fantasy lineup. That's
is.
what I
There's-
think will happen.
Dude, Lee hasn't shown that he can even run a route.
Lee will be okay. Lee will
I
be
hope
okay.
so. Because that
Lee will
lineup,
be okay.
that excites me.
No, yeah, that's what it'll be.
If that's what we're going into the first game of the season with, then I'm excited.
Who's the biggest wild card for you?
In our receiving core?
Yeah,
Chark,
me too.
without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has the ability to be a potential alternate Pro Bowl receiver if things go right. Dude,
Pro
you
Bowl?
can't say that. Dude, he's prototypical.
Nah.
Dude, he's got the size. He's got the hand. I mean, really?
He doesn't have the hands. Let's not get
Well-
the hands mixed up. I mean, definitely
Well,
not.
he's got the yips, but
Yeah, I mean, he's got the size. He's got the speed. He doesn't have the hands. He doesn't have the route running ability. He doesn't
Okay,
have the
go
blocking.
back and
downfield.
watch a lot of the games last year and just follow him.
I have.
Dude, he was open so much. Same thing with Dede, man. Dede was open. The first half of the season was open so much, and the ball was not even like looked at to get thrown to them.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what Foles does.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Foles is, I mean, the whole season is based off the fact that Foles makes everybody around him better, and our offensive line is back and healthy. That works, and we're going to make it run. That doesn't work, and we're back to the drawing board.
And we're drafting your boy Judge Judy first round.
Judge Judy for the
top
win.
5.
Like I said.
Well, before we end the show, we have to give a shout out to our fans in Utah. And let me explain.
Whew, this is a shocker to me, so I want to hear this.
A week ago, we gave a shout out to Trebe and
which is what, Idaho?
Idaho.
Yeah.
So on Twitter, we had shout outs from fans in Utah. And they said, hey, if you're going to give a shout out to Idaho, give a shout out to Utah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So here's our shout out to Utah. Thank you for listening.
That's amazing.
I almost made a Mormon joke, but I feel like that would cross the line of our family-friendly show here. So shout out
to you guys and your multiple wives? Was that what you gonna say? I'll say it because that's pretty awesome.
So shout out to Utah. Thank you for listeners. Again, we're on Twitter. I post on Twitter every 3 to 4 hours, video clips, and then I respond to people all day.
And honestly, Jason does a better job than probably half the people that are paid to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I love Twitter. I live on Twitter.
Yeah,
watch film all day. I post film clips. Like we're watching this Logan Cook clip right now. Logan Cook punting against the Steelers. Let's see here, 2-step and a punt. That's pretty good. Punted from the 20. Let's see here. It's going to get a fair catch on the 25.
It's almost like he played rugby or something. I mean,
Logan Cook actually played quarterback in high school. Fun fact.
Yeah.
So that's going to end it for us. Make sure to give us if you're listening this deep, then
high five to you guys.
And go on iTunes and give us a 5-star because that helps us a lot more than anything. We're on Overtime Sports Podcast, Overtime Entertainment. We're on Big Cat Country SB Nation, and our show's on live YouTube.
I would like to reiterate, please reach out to us. Email, Facebook, YouTube, text, phone call, however that you like to find our podcast on, because that really makes a big decision, or our decisions going forward will be based off where you guys like to find us at. So please let us know.
We got some people trying to tie us down.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word. And we're okay with it. Because,
we are, but we also are the people's podcast.
Right.
So we don't want to hurt that at all.
Right. And we want to be an extension of you guys. So keep sending us your comments. Keep sending us your questions. And we will read all of them unless we forget.
Like always.
Yeah. So as always, go Jags.
Go Jags.